Everything that I've done was a path towards making today a reality.
Moving from a job mindset to a entrepreneur mindset. That itself is a big leap which many of the leaders are not able to take.
Entrepreneurship, it's a one-way hat. Once you've worn it, you can't take it off.
Just the last year, Corporate Edge has expanded to Dubai, Chennai, Pune and Mumbai and also raised capital. What were the biggest challenges during this rapid growth phase?
It comes naturally to me to build businesses, to build people, mentor people, enabling others in terms of becoming better individuals.
It's amazing to listen from someone who has transitioned from comfort to something uncomfortable and made that the new comfort zone.
Masuda, I think this is very interesting to engage on such a platform and look forward to following self-discovery as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Mohsina, founder of Quantum Leaders Program and Self-Discovery Podcast. Welcome back to Self-Discovery Podcast, a space where we uncover the mindset, beliefs, and inner evolution of leaders who are redefining what true leadership looks like from the inside out. Ashish Shukla is a seasoned business leader and growth architect with over 3 decades of experience spanning cinema, entertainment, real estate, retail, and hospitality. His career reflects a rare blend of operational rigor and human-centric leadership, having scaled businesses from the ground up across India and the Middle East. Ashish played a pivotal role in shaping the modern cinema landscape, leading Synapolis expansion into the MENA region with over 400 screens and driving Cinepolis India's growth to more than 500 screens across 40 plus cities. Earlier, he was instrumental in Bharti Retail's rapid expansion, opening nearly 700 stores in 5 years and held strategic leadership role at PVR Cinemas during its formative growth phase. Today, as Managing Director of Corporate Edge, Ashish is redefining premium service offices by blending hospitality-led design, operational excellence, and cultural first thinking, building scalable businesses that remain deeply core at their very basic level. Hi Ashish, how are you? Thank you for joining my show, Self-Discovery Podcast.
Very well. Thank you, Mohsina, and thank you for inviting me for this session. Look forward to some engaging conversations and thought share.
I see that you're very multifaceted and you have had a hold over many business industries, I would say. How do you see yourself when it comes to the very starting point as a leader? What was the mindset? What thought process built you to who you are today?
A very interesting question. And I think over the years, I still figure out what kind of a person am I. The way I see it is that I started as a trainee, became a decent manager and then a business leader. And now I see that bringing vision to life and scaling it up is what I've learned during the journey of my professional career. And it comes naturally to me to build businesses, to build people, mentor people, enabling others in terms of becoming better individuals and better delivery in terms of experiences, better delivery in terms of products and scale. So I think that's something that I never started off the journey with that, but I think that's where the upbringing and your learnings of life kind of put you in that steadfast position and trajectory.
See, usually people are very comfortable with their jobs, okay? Taking a huge decision, moving from a job mindset to an entrepreneur mindset, that itself is a big leap which many of the leaders are not able to take through. What age did you decide that, okay, fine, this is it, I need to move forward? What was the mindset then?
I think I've been a bit of an impatient individual and always used to think right from the childhood to do something differently. And my father put me into an engineering college, and I said this was down south in a college. Since I didn't clear the engineering IITs and that, I thought it's not a fair thing to do. So I took a different path and I went into something that I cleared on my own merit, which was hoteliering. So I started in IHM Pusa in 1993 as a pass out. And I think from there on, my professional of today is what has been forming. And I think today as an entrepreneur is where I kind of feel quite seated. And everything that I've done was a path towards making today a reality. The first step of this was to become a management trainee after my my hotel school into a very small upcoming amusement park. And then I moved to hotels being set up in the hills in the north by Usha Sriram. Then I moved to a startup hotel of Taj in Taj Lucknow, and then to PVR. So what I was doing was I was part of a process which was generating about 20 crore rupees of revenue at that point in time in Taj Lucknow. And I was given a responsibility by the PVR managing director, which is Ajay Bijli, and I owe it to him and I look up to him as an individual who crafted this Ashish Shukla by giving me the freedom as the chief executive to craft out a lot of things in the formative years of PVR. From that 20 crore PNL, where I was one part of a team of 200 people, I became the PNL in charge of about 20 crores of the first multiplex in the country, and which brought together a lot of new learnings. And I immediately could able to comprehend where a lot of leaders could not possibly do that. The moment that understanding of business started in me, from there on, I moved into from mud map to PNL delivery for about 130 screens of PVR and taking it from its scratch to the IPO stage. And once I did that, then I said, okay, let's move on to the next journey. And I could have possibly continued with PVR as chief executive and stayed along, but I, as the entrepreneur in me, said that let me learn something more. So from there on, I took Ajay's blessings and I said that let me join Bharti Retail, which was Walmart was coming into India, the largest company in the world, and working with 4% margin and doing substantially better. So we said, let me learn from there. And then came Synapolis as a journey. 13 years I was with Synapolis, launching India and launching Middle East. So all of this, how to enter into a new market, how to enter into new territories. 4 countries I launched in the Middle East. 1 country, India, of course, I knew. I introduced a homegrown brand, built another multinational brand in India, and then moved to a multinational brand coming from Mexico, which was other side of the world. And to set that up was substantially learning and humbling experience. As journey of life would be, we decided, to have our own venture, which is Corporate Edge. And Corporate Edge happened because of my life partner, Mona. She had set this up in 2012, and 2013, we opened our first doors. And today we are running quite successfully. And basically, both of us are focusing on this business right now.
If I summarize, what you have just said, I would say one is impatience, if I'm talking about your belief. The second is not shying away from going out of your comfort zone, because you have done cinema, hospitality, retail. So it's like going ahead and learning new things and experiencing it at the same time excelling in it. So these are very, very strong values when leadership is concerned.
I was reflecting upon the words that you were using, impatience from within and patience on the outside.
Right.
That these are two different
Impatience in the
paradigms.
way that you don't stop at something, you keep going on. You are not just fulfilled, but also you are in an expansion mode. That is what impatience in entrepreneurship is actually.
Absolutely.
Talking about Corporate Edge, that's a baby for you and your life partner Mona. Can you please tell us about what was the thought behind it? Because you said Mona was the first one who had set it up. What was her thought behind it, and how did you both manage this to position that it is right now?
How Corporate Edge came into being is Mona was the founder for Regis in India, and she'd set up Regis as a baby, as the director for the north of India. She set up 19 centers for them, and I was setting up PVRs at that point in time. In the evenings, we used to have discussions, and in came in Cinepolis, and then they hired me as the country manager and the country head. And if there was an international company which was into flex, Regis being the largest company in the world, they would have got on with somebody like Mona. So we said, why don't we set up something, because this is new as a business? And she identified that coming from Taj as a background, Regis as a product knowledge, there was a lot of gap in terms of the service delivery, in terms of the product, and in terms of building the journey from there. And with the financial discipline that we wanted to have, and on the P&L, you need to have a lot of patience. We said we will do a bootstrapped company, and we will basically go across and expand our footprint with just the first project, which is a scalable model, because at that point in time, flex in India was about 0.2% of the commercial real estate, and it was supposed to go to 4%. So we said that it's a scalable model, but let's try the proof of concept. And we plunged in, and Mona, as the chief executive and chief everything officer, as she calls herself, founded the company. I was her back end. She basically did flourishingly well. We had some debts that we'd taken from SPI, and within, it was a 7-year loan that we had taken, but we retired it in 18 months.
Wow.
And that was the start of the journey. And when we retired that, we said, okay, let's kind of plunge in all in and continue to make this stronger. And ever since, the company has had about a CAGR growth of about 38% and continues to grow. And last year, we raised our first round of capital. 2022 end is when both Mona and me decided that we will be 100% on the job. Mona was already 100%. And then she, if I can call it, hired me as in her venture, and I was happy to join her. And then since then we've been doing Touchwood fairly well and expanding.
That's awesome partnership professionally as well as personally, I would say. And hats off to that. Please tell me this thing, that what do you think about, say, in just the last year, Corporate Edge has expanded to Dubai, Chennai, Pune, and Mumbai, and also raised capital. What were the biggest challenges during this rapid growth phase that you faced, and the learnings, if you can tell us?
I think one of the biggest practices that I follow is begin with the end in mind. And Mona is a very sharp person for quality, experiences, and design. And of course, sales, which is the paramount thing in this business and most of the businesses across the world. As a combination, I think both of us come together quite strongly. And in 22 end, we raised our second round of effort to raise capital. First round was very successful with SIDBI coming in the year 2017, and we raised some capital in 2018, deployed it in 19, and then COVID hit. Throughout the journey of 12, 14 years, the company has always been green growth as a strategy, as a chosen path. So we've always been healthy except 1 year of COVID. And then the second round, we basically went to the market in 22, and in 24, we were able to raise capital. So 22, we were building the organization. 23, we built the IM. And 24 end is when we kind of shook hands to tie up with a very good firm. We were very fortunate to join hands with Carpe Diem Capital. Carpe Diem happens to be a brilliant partner to have, because that is something that we have. It's a strategic partner, does not do too many term sheets, does not do too many investments, maybe 1 or 2 in a year. And then they stay steadfast with the entrepreneur till the value capture comes about, and also add value through the journey. So we raised this capital, and at that point in time, we were, from then to now, we are sitting at about a 3x in terms of growth. So we were at about 160,000 square feet with about 1,700 workstations. Now we are sitting at about 9,000 workstations with about 550,000 square feet under our belt. Sitting with 6 markets that we are operational in, and out of this, 1 market is going to go live now very soon as well, which is Pune, the last one to be added. And we've opened up Dubai. So each of our centers exude hospitality. They exude product design prowess. It is always the team is extremely proud to welcome people with the Atithi Devo Bhava concept. And something which we are very proud of is the team in terms of the culture, the team that we've built, and going from strength to strength. So the year we raised about 100 crores, with which we are going to deploy about 450 odd crores in the next, another 3 years as we are looking at. And that's the roadmap that we've carved out. We continue to be privately held and growing at a, CAGR, which is historically of 38, as I said, and north of that is what we're looking at right now.
That's really amazing. I believe that it's an amazing success story, and that too a family run, I would say. And since you have spoken a lot about your wife, Mona, I would also want you to tell us about what are the beliefs a woman leader brings up on a table.
She's a woman of substance, the way I see it. And she's extremely solid when it comes to grit and determination. I've seen her break down. I've seen her be very strong when it comes to the external world. I've seen her as a poet. I've seen her as a mother. All of these roles are not easy to play, but she's played them extremely brilliantly, and especially keeping the team together. The kind of bond she's developed with each team member is very different to what, I would build. And I think it's about putting the entire package of corporate edge is her baby. The term Ofitels, she's actually developed it and it has been picked up by international media and a lot of other people. So offices and hospitality is what the blend of corporate edge is, and which is her baby. To sum it up on Mona, I would say that she's quite a woman of substance, and I'm just helping her in her journey of creating this substantial organization in the future, which should be seen as one of the best players for offices and office delivery partners for multinationals and corporates alike.
Before we end this, I would like to ask you a question here that you have transitioned from being a corporate leader to an entrepreneur. So, what are the three aspects of an entrepreneur which is absolutely different than a corporate leader? If you can sum it up.
So, entrepreneurship, it's a one-way hat. Once you've worn it, you can't take it off. And when Corporate Edge was born, the path that we had a vision for has come to reality and will continue to go in the past. So, it doesn't start with the first step. It is actually with the end in mind is where it starts. An entrepreneur is an impatient on the inside and extremely patient on the outside, as we talked about it earlier. I've done multiple businesses historically, like about ninth, this one is. And you start off as a single person when you're jack of all and everything you need to do. And while you're doing all this, you keep on onboarding new team members and handing it over one responsibility at a time. So you got to be a people's person, you got to be a process person, you got to be that impatient and a constant hat that you're wearing, which is supposed to be, for the long run. And actually, the idea is that you do it for the business, not for anything else. Sometimes people end up in doing this for an IPO. Sometimes you do it for some external investor, some other people. But the intrinsic experience, intrinsic core of the business, if you've got it right, and if you've got that value proposition, what solution you're going to give to the society, I think you're sorted. And that one passion, that if you can put your energy and your life behind it, I think you're sorted as an entrepreneur. So choose that path, be impatient about it, and then step by step as a procedure.
Absolutely. It's amazing to listen from someone who has transitioned from comfort to something uncomfortable and made that the new comfort zone. So thank you so much, Ashish, for joining my podcast, Self Discovery, and sharing your insights. And also that nuances of partnership that you have shared is really, really amazing, because now we see a lot of husband and wife couples who have come across and who have built businesses which people did not even think before. That's really amazing, unique, I would say.
Masuda, I think this is very interesting to engage on such a platform, and look forward to following self-discovery as well as we move ahead into the next stage of our engagement.